good morning. And welcome to Unity of Palmyra, where centered in love, we embrace a positive path for spiritual living. We are an open and affirming congregation. We love you exactly as you are in all of your magnificent glory. I bring you greetings from Unity of Charlottesville, Virginia, where I spent last weekend working with their leadership and congregation and having a great time. And as always, I'm so happy to be home. And a huge thank you to Elaine and Becky and Kate and Carol and everyone who did. I watched the service. It was absolutely lovely. You did a wonderful job. Thank you. And I'm going to be building on your magic of Christmas with learning magic of winter. See where I went there, right? Freudian slip. Makes sense. And I'm going to be building on that with how we can learn to love winter. Are you willing? Notice there was a resounding thud when I said that. No, we're gonna learn. We're going to embrace the many, many, many gifts of winter today. So let's become fully present. Everybody take a nice big deep breath. And if you can safely close your eyes, let's do that for just a minute as we signal to the world that we are coming apart for a while. To remember who we are, that we are spiritual beings having an incredibly human experience, and that we are choosing to have that experience together in community. And so this morning we let go of what was and what will be, and we give ourselves the gift of being fully present, right here, right now. So as always, we enter into this experience with gratitude as we say thank you for this time to come apart. Thank you for whatever safe space you are in, and most especially thank you for one another. And so it is. Amen. So one of the things we're going to be talking about today is that winter is a time to be gentle with ourselves, to rest, to go into the silence, to go deep into our roots. So our opening song this morning is Gentle with Myself. So let's stand and sing.
And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. gentle with myself. I am gentle with myself. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. And I rock myself like a newborn baby child. And I hold myself like a newborn baby child. And I love myself like a newborn baby child.
So are you willing to do that? When you look at a newborn baby child, do you expect them to know everything? To never stumble or fall? To never mess up? Love yourself like that. So let's share in our vision together. Centered in love, we embrace a positive path for spiritual living. And our mission, wherever we are, we provide a welcoming community that inspires and encourages all who gather here through the teaching, sharing, and practice of universal spiritual principles. So before we get into hugs and handshakes, a quick question. If we took that down, would you have that memorized? Yes? If you don't have it memorized, that's your homework for the week. Because this is who we've told the universe that we are. And it expects us to know it and to show up as it. So maybe there'll be a test next week and we won't put the slide up. What do you think? Ruh-roh. All right. So one of the ways that we practice our amazing spiritual principles is to honor wherever you are on your journey, whether you have it memorized or not. Yes, so, you know, you got to have some fun in the office, right? So, if you want a hug, we will bring it on in. If you're more comfortable with a handshake, just extend your hand and we will honor that. And if you want us to leave you completely alone, we totally understand and we will honor the bubble that you create around you. Have a great time. Hugs. Yay, hugs. Here we go. That's fun.
Just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. Just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I'm getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. Just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Oh, okay. We're going to sing that one more time so you guys can join us.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm just where I'm supposed to be. supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Yeah.
Well done. Notice how subtle we are with that, so have a seat. A couple of brief announcements. Our prayer chaplains today are Sam Sherman and Leslie Burris, and they are both in the room this morning. So lovely to see you, Leslie. I'm going to go through these really fast because the big announcement is our January Hug Meeting Sunday. So for all the details on all of these announcements, please come to the Hug Meeting. And we do have some announcements and some updates and just some topics for discussion. So very quickly, the Embracing the Gift of Our Shadow class starts January 26th. And actually, I'm going to talk a little bit about that in the talk because digging deeper into our shadow is actually an opportunity that winter gives us. The self-care workshop is going to be on February 5th from 1 to 4. That day, and I'll talk about this more at the Hug Meeting, but we may not be able to stream that day just because it's going to be a very different service and you all are going to be spread out. Stay tuned. So if you do watch us regularly streaming, and if there is a way that you can get here on the 5th, you might want to plan on that because I don't think we're going to be able to stream it. Our Valentine's Coffee House is on February 11th at 7 p.m. That's going to be very fun. We're going to have refreshments afterwards. It's going to be a very kind of a nice grown-up evening that we can all come together in holy grounds and celebrate music with Janie and Jody and Kristen. The Hug Meeting is today, and Jeff, did you want to say like a couple of minutes about the beloved community, or do you want to talk about that at the Hug Meeting? Let's talk about it at the Hug Meeting. Jeff has participated in the Beloved Community program, and he wanted to give a pitch for it, for how wonderful it is. And a big thank you to our safety team, to Tammy and Diana and Donna. If you notice where the first aid kits are hung, there are now glove boxes, and there's a little sign that says first aid. So there's one on the lower level, there's one on this level, and Tammy has ordered a set for the second, I know it feels like the third level, but it's really the second floor. So on every floor, there's a little sign that says first aid, and that's where the kits, the gloves, and where you go if you need first aid in the building. So thank you for being so on top of this safety team. You are awesome. You think of things we don't. All right, and now the daily word, Miss Kate.
The word for today is power. My thoughts and words reflect my divine inheritance. When I listen to my inner conversation and recurring thoughts, I may hear fear-based, limiting talk, or I may hear positive words, encouraging me to live joyfully and confidently. The choice is mine. Through my divine gift of power, I take command of my thoughts and my life. I release thoughts of powerlessness, and as I do, my negative self-talk diminishes. I affirm my divine inheritance of faith, wisdom, understanding, and strength with my thoughts, my words, and actions. The power to live a full life is mine. I embrace insights I've gained through experience. I own my mistakes without shame or embarrassment. I'm eager to learn. I'm willing to try new things and stretch myself. In power, I thrive. And from Proverbs, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruits. And so it is.
This is the time of our service where we consciously enter into an attitude of prayer, where we go within and we allow whatever might be challenging us in the moment to gently surface. And as it does, we don't react, we don't try to fix it, we don't see it as a problem. We simply allow it to be. And we ask ourselves, what if I would see what appears to be an obstacle as an opportunity? What if I could reframe this problem into potential? What if I am willing to learn from what is being presented to me on my journey? Seeing that these challenges aren't in the way of the path, they are the path. And in doing so, my entire energy shifts. I'm no longer worried or fretting or anxious. I might be curious. I might be eager. I might welcome whatever is being presented to me at this moment. So I invite you to take just a moment and engage in that practice. Allow whatever is concerning you to just be. To present itself as a possibility. And if you are experiencing gratitude or joy or celebrating, we invite you to share that energy with us. Spread that like glitter over this entire community. Safe, recyclable glitter. As we embrace your joy, your gratitude, your sense of delight or glee, and we make it our own. For we know that when our cares are shared, they are divided. And when our joys are shared, they are exponentially increased. Therein lies the power of community, of deciding to share this journey we call life together. And so let's take one collective breath together, affirming our oneness and our connection. For we know beyond a shadow of a doubt that together or apart, we are always connected at the heart. And so it is. Namaste.
The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. You are beautiful. You are whole. You are beautiful. You are whole. gusty winds made moan. Earth stood still as iron, water like a stone. Snow had fallen, snow on snow, snow on snow. In the bleak midwinter, long ago. Christ, a homeless stranger, so the Gospels say, cradled in a manger and a bed of hay. In the bleak midwinter, in this world of pain, where our hearts are open, love is born again. What then shall I give him, poor as I am? If I were a shepherd, I would give a lamb. If I were a wise man, I would do my part. Yet what can I give him? I can give my heart.
That was lovely. You know, that's one of my dad's favorite songs. Yeah, love it. So I'm going to be building on what Elaine talked about last week as she talked about the magic of winter. And today we're going to really learn to appreciate winter. Winter historically has kind of gotten a bad rap. I mean, even the title of this song, you know, in the bleak midwinter. But when you listen to the words, you hear the sweetness of it, and you hear one of the many gifts of winter. There's also the winter of our discontent, right? Death comes in the winter of our lives. You see it? Like we kind of have this belief system built up around winter. And for many years, I really struggled in winter. And, you know, growing up in Phoenix, we didn't really do winter there. You know, we had a couple weeks of rain. And if it got below 70, we were like putting on the woolies, right? So moving back to Pennsylvania as a teenager, I was like, what is this winter thing they speak of, right? It's cold out there. And so I really struggled with it. Plus there was also that, you know, the kind of the psychological aspects of winter that we can experience, SAD, seasonal affective disorder. And yet, about 15 years ago, I was exposed to a different concept of winter by my friend Nikki, who was also my acupressurist, and she is an expert on Chinese medicine and the Chinese view of the seasons and flowing with nature. And Elaine touched on this a little bit last week, and she said, are you willing to approach winter differently? Are you willing to stop fighting winter and embrace what winter has to offer? And at first I was like, well, yeah, no. I'm pretty entrenched in this, right? But then I got thinking about it and I thought, well, I don't fight the gifts of spring. Anybody else fight the flowers blooming and it warming up? And I don't fight the gifts of summer, right? I don't fight the gifts of fall. So why is it that I've decided that the other 3 seasons are perfectly fine, but there's something wrong with winter? And so what she invited me to look at was that as long as I was fighting it, it was going to be hard. And then if I became willing to learn about and accept the gifts of winter, that I could completely reframe that season and actually enjoy all 12 months of the year. So as was usual, Nikki was right. And I started doing some research, and I started to allow her to teach me, as I was laying on her table every month, about not just winter, but about the cycles of our life and how they are aligned with the cycles of the year and of the seasons. And it really helped me to embrace winter. So I found this great piece by Donna Ashworth called Wintering. She says, "You may think yourself lazy or flawed, yet your body is made of almost exactly the same elements as the stars. Your bone composition matches the coral in the seas, and you, my friend, are ruled by the moon and the sun, whether you like it or not. So no, you are not lazy. Nature is simply pulling you to slow, like the life, floral, and fauna around you. It is not your moment to rise. It is wintering. It is winter. You are wintering, and you are right on time. So, embrace. We are wintering. In the I Ching, which is a Chinese book of wisdom, it says, in winter, people should retire early at night and rise late in the morning, and they should wait for the rising of the sun. I want the NFL to read that. I'm just saying, these late games really mess with me, people. So during the winter, nature is resting. The sap is going down deep into the roots, preparing for spring. If it didn't do that, there would be no spring. So winter is a time to rest. It is not the time to be pushing forth. That's spring. Spring is the time for pushing forth. We can talk about that at Easter. But winter is the time to let the sap run down to your roots, to rest, to slow down, to go within. So let's look at some of the gifts. And I'm also going to be sharing from Joyce Rupp today. That was so fun. This is called a celebration of the winter solstice. And I think it's perfect for today. She says there's a tendency to want to hurry from autumn to spring, to avoid the long, dark days that winter brings. Many people do not like constant days bereft of light and months filled with colder temperatures. They struggle with the bleakness of land and the emptiness of trees. Their eyes and hearts seek color. Their spirits tire of tasting the endless gray skies. There is great rejoicing in the thought that light and warmth will soon be filling more and more of each day. But winter darkness has a positive side to it. As we gather to celebrate the first turn from winter to spring, we are invited to recognize and honor the beauty in the often unwanted season of winter. Let us invite our hearts to be glad for the courage winter proclaims. Let us be grateful for the wisdom winter brings in teaching us about the need for withdrawal as an essential part of renewal. Let us also encourage our spirits as earth prepares to come forth from this time of withdrawal into a season filled with light. The winter solstice celebrates the return of hope to our land as our planet experiences the first slow turn toward greater daylight. Soon we will welcome the return of the sun and the coming of springtime. As we do so, let us remember and embrace the positive, enriching aspects of winter's darkness. Pause now to sit in silence in the darkness of this space. Let this space be a safe enclosure of creative gestation for you. Isn't that beautiful? So we learned from this teaching that one of the gifts of winter is rest. I saw a great meme recently that says, "Nothing in nature blooms all year. Be patient with yourself." So do we fight our need for rest? Our culture does not encourage, Helene's back there laughing because we've been talking about this. Everyone needs a really good massage therapist to talk about these things while you're on the table, right? We fight rest. You know, one of the things I'm going to be talking about in the self-care workshop on February 5th is how we embrace exhaustion in our culture. Oh, I'm so busy, I'm so exhausted. As if it's a badge of honor to be exhausted, right? And if you're not exhausted, well, then clearly you're just not working hard enough, right? Winter encourages us to rest. What if we thought of rest as an achievement? What if we bragged about, I got a solid 9 hours of sleep last night, man, it was the best, right? Instead of bragging about how much we're getting done on 4 hours, right? Our bodies, minds, and spirits need time off. We need to rest. So another lesson we learned from winter is the importance of letting go. I love this quote by Maya Angelou. I shared it to my page, actually. She says, "We need much less than we think we need." Think about that for a minute. Stephanie, do you really need 13 sets of dishes? So I really want to say yes. But if I'm to tell the truth, the answer to that is no. Right? Do we need everything that's in the attic and the garage? Ken would say yes. I would say no. Right? So Rumi once observed, "Be like a tree and let the dead leaves drop." Winter encourages us through our observation of nature to let go. Take some time apart and drop some leaves. What beliefs or stuff are you ready to let go of? Winter is a great time to clean out closets, slowly, taking naps in between, letting it go. There's an old saying that you can't see the far shore until you're willing to let go of the shore you've been living on. You know, so often we say we want this or we need this, but we're not creating any space in our lives to allow it to come in. So just think, if I could let go of half of my sets of dishes, what new dishes might I find that want to? Actually, we implemented a rule about 10 years ago that in order to buy a new set of dishes, I had to let go of one. I haven't bought any for 10 years, I'm just saying. The author of Ecclesiastes understood the importance of surrendering to cycles and to the seasons. It says, "For everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up what is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing." We did that for about 2 years, didn't we? A time to love, a time to hate, a time for war, and a time for peace. So we can fight the seasons, we can resist the weather and the landscape and the changes inherent in all of the phases of our lives, or we can learn to flow and go gracefully with those seasons. The Chinese associate each season with an element, and the element for winter is water. Water is considered one of the yin elements, but yin or yang. Yin is an element that is where we go within. So this is one of the reasons that I offer the Embracing the Gifts of Our Shadow class over the winter months. Because going deep within, learning to embrace and integrate those parts of ourselves that we have rejected is part of that yin energy. It's part of that winter energy. where we learn to completely love ourselves, warts and all, through that work. So the neat thing about water is that water, and you talked about this a little bit last week, water comes in many forms. Water can be a liquid, water can be a solid, water can be a gas. So a sign of a balanced water element is that we flow from one state to the other. I was actually teaching Cassie, I hope she appreciates that her grandmother has a biology degree, that you can actually go, there's a thing called sublimation. You guys have heard of sublimation? We think of that you have to go from a solid to a liquid to a gas, which is how we normally flow in water. But sublimation is when we go straight from a solid to a gas. How cool does that sound? To go straight from being solid or stuck and go instantly into the freedom of the gaseous state, into that floaty state. Pretty cool, huh? Look up sublimation when you get home. That's your biology lesson for today. So water also in the Chinese calendar is the element that stands for compassion and understanding and responsiveness to the needs of ourselves and others. So notice it's all about being with the flow, right? So winter is our time to rest and reflect and go with the flow of the season so that we can emerge in spring refreshed and renewed. So I don't know about you, but when I get tired, I get cranky, right? That's the rigid form of water. In order to thaw, I need to get rest, and then I can flow again. Again, I'm going to talk about this I'm giving you guys all this stuff from the self-care workshop. I'm going to talk about a phenomenon called HALT. Anyone familiar with HALT? It's an anagram. So if you're feeling cranky, you ask yourself before you lash out at the people that you love the most, am I feeling hungry, angry, lonely, or tired? So you halt. You practice that pause that we talk about, that pause between what's happening and how I'm going to either respond or react to it. So in winter, we're really encouraged to halt, to take care of our physical needs, to nurture ourselves, to get plenty of rest. So just as there are cycles in nature, there are also cycles in our lives. And this teaching comes from the Hindu tradition, and I think it's really fascinating. So I'm going to kind of incorporate it into the cycles of nature thing. They believe that there are 4 stages to our lives. So the first stage is student, and that's when we're young. Usually this goes to like you're 12 or 13 or 14 years old. And our primary responsibility at this time is to learn. That's our job. Our job is to learn. The second stage is what's called the householder. And this is like normally about the time, like, I don't know, so projecting this onto our culture. Maybe you're graduating from college, or maybe you've moved out, you're establishing your own home, preferably before you're 30. Which is what my parents always said, get out of the house. That maybe you've gotten married or you've started a new career. This is called the householder. And so your job at this time is to pursue what they call the 3 human wants or desires: pleasure, success, and duty. All right, so this is that time in your life where you're very creative, you're very productive in the householder thing. Then around the time, again, in that culture, they say around the time of your first grandchild, which I thought was interesting, then there's another stage that they call retirement. And it's not how we think of retirement, like you quit working. It's more of a psychological shift that you start to make. And this is where you are done with the rat race of life. You're tired of being productive. You just want to spend time being. And they said your job at this time is to discover who you are and what you are really about in your life. They said it's time that you work out a philosophy. Like, what is your philosophy of life and how are you going to live it? He said it's a time for transcending the senses to find and dwell with the reality that underlies this natural world. So notice the shift. So we were learning, we were doing and producing, and now we're in kind of a place of curiosity. Why am I here? What do I want to do with the rest of my life? And then finally, the fourth stage is interesting. It's called being in a state of sannyasin. And this is roughly translated, one who neither hates nor loves anything. So we've had our time of retirement, we've had our time of introspection, and now we're returning, he says, the same but forever different. Taking no thought of the future and looking with indifference upon the present, the sannyasin lives identified with the eternal self and beholds nothing else. We have released our attachments to the material world to fulfilling our ego-driven desires and are free from obligations and expectations. We have attained the bliss of emptiness. Doesn't that sound lovely? So we have cycles of nature, and we have cycles in our lives. And what I appreciate about both of these teachings, both of them from the East, is it honors and respects those cycles. It doesn't fight them. It doesn't say that the student, the learning phase of our life is better than the household or productive phase of our life, or that that's better than the retirement phase of our life, or that that's better than the emptiness, the bliss. It's saying that they're all important, and we need to go through all of them. And I think that's really, really important for us in this society to embrace, because don't we just revere youth? Now, there's nothing wrong with youth, but I have to say that if I had to do my 30s again, don't want to go there, right? It's about honoring the wisdom that comes with age, the wisdom that comes with experience. And then those of us who are at that phase in our lives, honoring and appreciating what youth has to bring. It's appreciating each phase of our lives, just like we learn to appreciate each season of nature. We appreciate the winter. We appreciate the rest. We appreciate the downtime. Just as we can learn to appreciate the retirement and the emptiness phases of our lives, while embracing the youth that surrounds us. So finally, winter is a season of hope. In ancient times, you notice, and again, Elaine brought this up a little bit last week, you notice how many of the holidays in December, or December, early January, focus on the light. Because in ancient times, they didn't quite understand yet, this is very, very ancient times, that when winter came, spring would follow. That learning came a little bit later in the evolution of our species. And so these festivals were signs of hope that the light would return. Not dissing winter, but anticipating that at some point the light would return, and embracing that the trees would bud again, and those bulbs we planted would bloom again. So winter is the season of hope. Charles Fillmore said that hope is the expectation of good in the future. So over these 3 months of winter, or sometimes 4 months, we can ask ourselves, what are we hoping for? So during this time of rest and going within and going with the flow and honoring whatever season of life we are in, we have an opportunity to discern what is truly important to us. What is my hope? Not just for the spring, but moving forward. What do we want to plant for the upcoming year? What do we hope to grow? So I invite you to embrace winter, to rest, to record the playoff games if they're going to run late. Follow the example of Mother Nature. It's okay to let your sap flow down to your roots right now. It's okay to get extra sleep. It's okay to take naps. It's okay to be quiet. So we center ourselves in hope, just like the ancients did when they embraced the hope of light's return. So I invite you to honor this season and honor whatever season of life you are in. Are you willing? Really? Wasn't a whole lot of energy around that, but you're resting. Oh, you're good. You're really good. Okay, well, that's perfect because our meditation song for today is In the Silence. So let's go into the silence with Kate.
In the silence, there is a sacred place, a secret meeting place. Love is there. In the silence, where every color blends and every rainbow ends. Good is there. In the light, now you find that you know peace of mind. In the silence, your path is paved in gold, and all your dreams unfold. Love is there. In the light, now you find that you know peace of mind. In the silence, your path is paved in gold, and all your dreams unfold. Love is there.
So let's take a nice, big, deep, collective breath. Feel the breath moving gently through you, flowing as the water flows, softly nurturing every cell, every muscle, every organ. And as you continue to breathe, focus on that movement, on how easily it flows. How the breath that just seems to know what to do. Moving seemingly effortlessly through your body. Working in harmony with all your other physical systems. Taking oxygen where it needs to go. supporting, restoring, enlivening your physical being. And as we continue to flow, notice how it does not differentiate between head and heart. It flows to both. It feeds both. And as it flows, it connects both. And as we observe that example, we recognize that nature does not differentiate. It rains where it will rain. The sun shines where it shines. The moon rotates without any effort from us. And so we observe from nature the importance of flowing, of moving with ease through the gifts of each season, through the gifts of each stage of our lives, embracing, learning, loving, growing as we flow. And so as you go into the silence, notice where your energy wants to flow. Notice when you need rest. Notice when you need quiet. Notice when you want to go into that cave. And honor those needs. For this is the season of rest and silence and going deeper.
In the silence, my path is paved in gold, and all my dreams unfold. Love is there, peace is there, truth is there. God is there.
That was beautiful. Thank you. So are you seeing winter differently? Please say yes. Thank you. So this is the time of our service where we no longer pass the basket. We just say thank you, thank you, thank you so much for your incredible generosity and your because that generosity demonstrates commitment to the work of this community and how important this community is to the greater community. We are so very grateful for your support. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to weep. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. A time of love, a time of hate, a time of war, a time of peace, a time you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. A time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to gain, a time to lose, a time to rend, a time to sow, a time for love, a time for hate, a time for peace. I swear it's not too late.
Oh, that was great. Do we have kids? I don't know what Gwen was doing with the kids today, but it took 3 trips to get all the paraphernalia downstairs this morning. So, looks like a fun time. Should we sing him in with this little light of
Sure.
mine? Okay.
Oops.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Oh my goodness, this is awesome. What did you guys do today?
Today we made a wreath out of
They look like lunch bags.
lunch bags and
Gwen's saying yes.
and we put little hearts on it and we made rainbows downstairs in the kitchen and people can come down there to enjoy them.
Are they edible rainbows?
Yeah.
Wow, you guys are awesome. This is so fun. I told them it took us 3 trips to get all your stuff downstairs today, so you guys had a good time. Oh, are they cookies? Yeah, they're cookies. They're cookies. So if you have a chance, we're going to be doing some work down in the youth area over the next couple of weeks, which includes a little bit of painting And a little bit of reorganizing, so if you want to bring a brush and a roller, I'll keep you posted on when we're going to do it. And also check out the rainbow that Gwen and the kids are creating on the bulletin board. It's quite beautiful. What?
I burned myself with hot glue 10 times.
What?
I burned myself with hot glue 10 times.
Oh, no. No, you got to watch that hot glue.
I hot glued it with metal, like melting metal on it, and it burned me so badly, metal.
Uh-oh. Well, luckily, we have a first aid kit, thanks to the safety team, that we can... Really, we need to know where those are, don't we, Gwen? Yeah. All right, can we bless you guys? Can you stand up so that we can bless you? Get up there so we can bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, you're doing okay. All right. All right, together. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ in each and every one of you. Yes, we do. And we're so glad you're here. And thank you for the cookies. All right, let's sing the peace song. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And wherever God is, all is well. So big thank you, Kate, for filling in with Jamie was on a much needed vacation. You did an awesome job, and we are so grateful. Thank you. In case you guys weren't aware, the music really drives the service, right? I always say my talk can be mediocre if the music is good, so we're in very good hands. Oh, you're squeezing the stuffing right out of me. So go forth and embrace winter, and come downstairs for fellowship in the hug meeting. Love you. Bye-bye, Facebook and YouTube friends. You are squishing me to death. Oh, my goodness. Mwah. All right.
Hello, the Survivor Solo. That's true.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you? Enjoy your day.
You too.
Hey, like essential. I was like, go, God. Here she comes. Here we go.
No.